Hello and welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. My name is Danny DeLillo and we're here at the Carmichael Los Angeles showroom in West Hollywood. I'm here with Sam Carmichael with his movie, The New Guy. Let's take a look at a clip.
Who is this?
I'm the new guy.
Who do you work for, new guy?
What did I say? Ask him if he wears diapers. Do you wear diapers?
Say goodbye.
Congratulations, Sam, on your film, The New Guy.
Thank you.
Took us on a great journey and it reminds me of my childhood. But for those that haven't seen it, tell us a brief synopsis.
The New Guy is about a group of middle school age kids who make a series of prank phone calls and unknowingly stumble upon a deadly hostage situation.
Yeah, I mean, there's prank phone calls when you're a kid, but this
Yeah.
one took us to a new level. Now, you wrote this as well, so where did your inspiration come from making this particular project?
It came from my own childhood experiences. I wish I could say it was based on a true story, but
Well, actually, didn't actually happen.
No,
Oh,
no.
no, okay, good.
no, but it was about finding something that was maybe relatable to
Yeah.
people that maybe they had those experiences
Yeah.
as a child, and then just putting a twist on it.
Yeah, an epic twist on it, really.
Yeah.
You know what I loved as well is I think you obviously made a film where I think everybody just turned into themselves and had a very nostalgic feel of like, oh yes, I did that with my friends as well. I think everyone's kind of done it or thought about doing it, and certainly been a group of kids that you did do it. Was that something that you kind of was like, yeah, I'm gonna have every audience member looking back on what they did as well?
That was the intent,
Yeah.
absolutely. And we set it in the 90s. I don't know if that
Yes.
was
Oh no, I got
clear or not,
that.
but all the props, all the set dressing came from a prop house.
Yeah.
Very intentional to do it that way, but it was certainly based on the combination of those childhood experiences. We would call people and pretend to be a radio station and play music in the background and tell people that they had won prizes and things like that. And they got all
I
excited.
love it.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
So it was kind of rooted in the street that I grew up in Illinois. We had a lot of kids on the street, so those characters are loosely based on my friends. And there was always a new kid on the block. So the film is about giving that new kid the shot, and the kids think that he blows it, but in reality, he's actually stumbled upon something.
Yeah.
Completely out of the ordinary, and somebody ends up. We don't know if it's a person or something else that might.
Yeah,
might have died.
you left us with an open ending of not knowing where it was actually going to go. Now I think one thing as well. Like, I mean, did your friends have they seen it? The ones that
They have. Yeah,
they have. They like it.
They saw a bit of themselves in it.
They did. Oh yeah,
Each
definitely.
character, sort of represented maybe a cluster of people that kind of fit those roles.
You had brilliant actors.
Thank
you know, it's not easy to bring a group of young actors together, but they were all extremely talented. And how is it for you directing these wonderful actors?
They were terrific.
Yeah.
We found them on Breakdown Express, and we prepped the entire film in just 2 weeks. So
Wow.
We brought everybody in. We found who we wanted on the website, brought in about 20 people on a Saturday, and we were sort of casting as we went. So by that night, we actually called back those 4 guys on Sunday and sort of did a camera test and how their chemistry worked. And I just told them on the spot, you got it, and then we're filming next weekend. And
Wow.
so very quickly.
That must be really cool for them, you know, as young actors to be like, hey, you guys just nailed it. Like, we're doing this next week.
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
And I love moving quickly because everybody feeds off of that momentum.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you have to be, no one else is going to help you make your project, and hopefully your friends
Yeah.
come into something of this scale, but ultimately you're pushing that boulder up the hill, and there's always going to be something pressing back, but no matter what, the film was going to get made on the particular Saturday that we
I love it.
carved out. Whether we needed to swap actors or
Yeah.
locations, you just have to be willing to overcome all the obstacles.
I think that's really tremendous advice, and I love that you said that you move quickly and to kind of like keep the momentum going, because I think it is important, isn't it? Because sometimes in films, like I know it depends if obviously it's probably different in the future, but it takes a long time sometimes before you come back around to it again. But especially with young people, like keeping it going, keeping the energy going, that's really, really good. What was your biggest challenge apart from obviously the obvious, which was doing it all in one day and everything else?
Yeah, I think biggest challenge was just finding people to work on the show. It was to go to people and say, hey, we don't have a budget for this, but we want to make something, make this happen. So I think what we found that the sweet spot is finding people who already have, they're already making a living, they're paying their bills, and they want to step sideways and help make an indie passion project. I actually got a death threat on Craigslist because I posted about the project and I said, hey, making an indie short, it's my passion project, and somebody responded, you're a parasite, go die. And
oh my goodness.
So I took the page down and said, I'm going to stick with people that are either a friend or a friend of a friend. Yeah. But that was obviously someone having a bad day who's probably
quite clearly
burned out on a couple of these kind of projects before.
Yeah, but I think it's extremely important to learn your craft by volunteering your time to gain experience. Absolutely. I mean, I've certainly been an intern. I've certainly worked on projects with no money, previously, and I think it's really, really good to do that. And it's how you learn craft, and of course, when you're trying to build projects together, there's not always a budget for all of these different projects anyway. So it's really great that you actually made it happen.
Yeah, when I came from Illinois, and by making that leap to LA, you do leave behind a lot of your contacts that you've built. So someone gave me really great advice. A friend of mine was in the producing program at AFI, and he said, you're new to LA, you're gonna have to trade your time to build those contacts again. So I started working on AFI thesis films. I didn't go to AFI, but I started working on their films as a production coordinator, a production manager, and it was like free education. With all these AFI people just showing me, LA, showing me how things are done here. It's very different, the permitting process and all the vendors here. So I kind of came up through physical production. That's actually my day job, is working at a studio, helping the budgeting and the scheduling aspects, which feeds into being able to reverse engineer something like the short film. So keeping it to daylight, you reduce your grip and electric package and the crew, the mouths you have to feed. Keeping it a little bit outdoor, but also interior, and to one day. It's a lot easier to get a crew to come out for one day than 2 days or 4 days, or sometimes short films. I've worked on a week-long short film. And I think that gets to be a little too long and taxing for asking people to help out. So.
These are all really fantastic tips, like really, 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 whether you're new to LA and just understand the business. And I think it is important because where you trade your time, you also gain an education, of experience. And I think everybody should be doing that when they come here and discover and build up your relationships too and contacts. Absolutely. So obviously you had a good team because you all put this together and it was wonderful. What was your experience like at NewFilmmakers LA on the big screen with the new guy?
It was incredible to be part of a program with a lot of local filmmakers as well. So it's easy to stay in touch with these people. It was a pleasure meeting the directors and a lot of the crew and cast that were in attendance. So we got to hang out afterwards, talk about production stories and just talk about what's next. And so it's exciting.
Speaking of which, what is next for you?
What's next? I don't know. Working on ideas for the next project is kind of what's losing my words.
Oh no, that was good. No, of course, it's like you are doing it. I mean, it's happening, and we've been working on this project as well. Are you continue to take this on its run, or?
Yeah. So the new guy was shot in September, and we finished it up at the end of last year, and then we world premiered at the Cleveland International Film Festival.
Oh, excellent.
And NewFilmmakers LA was our West Coast premiere, which was very exciting.
Oh, how fortunate for us.
Yeah,
it's fantastic. I feel like you got very inspirational. Like, I mean, having made the leap coming from a different part of the United States and moving to Los Angeles, what piece of advice have you learned, or maybe something you've got that you've shared to any filmmaker you'd like to follow in your footsteps? Sure,
I think the most important thing is to keep an eye on the holistic view of your life. It's not just about filmmaking, but when I moved here, I lived in a very inexpensive place with several people jammed in there, but that's what it's about. It's to keep your overhead low. If you want to do this for the long haul, you don't want to get burnt out, you don't want to get priced out. So come in with low expectations of like, share a place with
Yeah.
people, get a job to keep,
Yeah.
it's hard to be creative when you're worrying about how am I going to pay my bills for next month.
Yeah.
So keep your overhead low.
Yeah.
Run your life like a business,
Yeah.
like a profit and loss statement.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds cheesy, but it's true if you want to really stay here. Because the paradox of moving to LA for a film career is that it's so expensive
Yeah.
to live here. So I often wonder, what if I went back? What if I just visited back home and shot a film there for half the price? So just be aware of that. LA is expensive. It's too expensive to shoot a lot of the studio films here. Even.
Yeah.
So, but what's here is the hub of people. People base themselves here, and then they go out and film, chasing tax incentives, and then they come back. But everything's headquartered here. So find your place of where you want to be on this spectrum of the creative side, the business side, representation side, post. There's a number of things, and it's about just finding where you fit in.
I think every new filmmaker should watch this interview. Of course, if you're watching it right now, you're seeing this, but but no, really, you're giving some really great advice for the people that are moving out of here, and definitely keeping your overhead low, because this is you can do a lot of things when you manage your business well. So yeah, fantastic. Well, listen, I love your film, Sam. I can't wait to see much more of your projects, and congratulations on the new guy.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Take
Thank
it.
you.